It seems like it's been 40 weeks since you got 40 winks. Your back pain? Unbearable. Tossing, turning, trying to find that pain-free position. And that's the moment you realize you can't spend another waking moment putting off treatment.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for spine care, with a ton of surgical and non-surgical treatments for back pain. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This podcast, episode 738, Vulnerabilities in Our Fitness Journey with Josh Garrett.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Hello there. Welcome to the Pound This podcast. Before I get into this all over the place conversation with Josh Garrett about vulnerabilities in our health and fitness journey, I want to tell you about Sarah and Team Fit With Me, who has been a part of my fitness journey. She's been my health coach since October of 2020. She's been part of my podcast journey since 2018. If you're looking for a great health coach, especially in the new year, just to kind of maybe get your head wrapped around macros and nutrition and fitness, and maybe you've had issues in the past with thyroid diseases, gut health conditions, PCOS, hormonal dysfunction, man, Sarah has got your back. She's got a whole team of people. That's why it's Team Fit With Me, to help you with your health and fitness goals. So if you're interested in a fantastic health coach, check out Sarah and Team Fit With Me. Get 10% off month one of all packages, plans, and add-on services when you go to teamfitwithme.com/poundthis, which you can find the link for that in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This podcast. I'm Amanda Valentine. Josh Garrett is back again. What's up, Josh?
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Are you feeling better? Last time we chat, it was virtually because you were sick.
I had the vid.
Yeah, I had COVID. Are you feeling better?
I am. Yeah. So still a little bit lethargic and just trying to get back into, routine and working out. And I worked out yesterday, and today is a little bit more exhausting than normal. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Speaking of working out, I've been trying to push myself on more lower body stuff because I'm trying to get more strength in there, so I stopped jacking up my back and my sciatic problems. I've learned that I'm going to have to take lunges out of the routine for a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
That is bad news bears. Even on the sliders. It just jacked my knee hard.
Even if you do reverse lunges? Any types of lunge?
I was doing reverse lunges on the sliders, and it jacked up my good knee.
Really?
Yeah, but it's on my good knee. So my left side is the good knee, but the bad back.
Yep.
And the right side's the bad knee. The back's whatever.
Yeah.
And
now it's screwing up. Where's it at on your knee? Outside, inside, middle?
Feels like under the kneecap. It would just coming down the stairs in the morning, I was peg legging it.
Yeah.
I was worried about falling.
So it's pulling on your kneecap somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a bummer for me.
Yeah.
I'm working through it. I'm figuring it out.
But
get there.
Yeah, it's just all connected into the hips and the core and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out. So,
which, heads up for anybody listening to this podcast may just be a total train wreck, trying to figure out a good roadmap for it, just to be brutal honesty, as I wanted to go into a topic about vulnerability. And I was just telling Josh before we started recording, I was training all morning. So it's switching from training brain into podcasting brain those are train tracks that aren't easy for me to jump across, especially when I've gone from training to recording podcasts and stuff in the middle of the day and then immediately go into a client again. My head is just what? Yeah. It's weird where it's I'm talking about health and fitness. It should make sense to go right back into training. It is. There's
but
tracks.
this is, I think it's an undervalued art that you're able to do, to lead conversations and to move the way that you move things through and have it feel as effortless as you do. That's a skill that not a lot of people have. And,
thank you.
It's just like training. Everybody looks at it and they're like, oh, that's just working out, just showing somebody a workout. And it's yeah, go ahead, try it.
Yeah.
And then you get in it and you're like, oh, this is way harder than anticipated. So yeah, I definitely get having to switch your brain and So yeah, beware.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess that's one way to get into this topic a little bit of like, that's where, oh my God. I mean, when we talk about like vulnerability during your journey, and I guess by vulnerability, I also mean just kind of like self-consciousness, body image issues, things where you question yourself and you feel like, oh, I'm not a master of this space.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten a lot better as we're kind of coming to the close of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, one of the things that I did to more focus on the positive things is like write out a list of like, what did I accomplish this year? What am I proud of this year? And things like that. It's crazy to think that I started the year just by getting my certification.
Yeah.
That was in January. Then I started taking like friend test clients at the end of January. And then my first paid client at the beginning of February or mid-February, which that client just bought 100 more sessions today. So it's like, oh, well, I'm doing something right. She's sticking around. That's cool. But just even thinking of like, I started 2021 never doing this before to now, and of like, it's been such a struggle all year of like, God, I suck at this. And oh, this is so freaking hard. And just trying to learn it. And it's just been very frustrating to feeling at the end of the year, not any sort of perfection, but just feel like, okay, I'm feeling more comfortable.
Hitting
I'm feeling
your stride
better.
with it a little bit.
I can feel like I can be more of myself while I'm training. Like I can feel like I can have more fun. I can be like a little more silly. Like I'm not so like spooked out and freaked out about everything of like, somebody's using the thing that I need to use. Oh my God. And so of like getting to that space of just being where, and just even, you know, I've talked with Nick because me and Nick work together on Mondays and he's been helping me with stuff of like a place of confidence where I feel like I was with my workouts and stuff pre-2020 before that back injury of like, man, I was going out of town specifically. Like I was going to Minneapolis a decent amount.
Yeah.
And then there's like this big bro-y gym there that I'm like, I would go and get like a 4-day pass just to go there and work out there with all these like meathead dudes. I'm like, yeah, bitch. Like, you know, and like just felt very confident. Like I didn't feel like out of place. I was one of the only women in there and I thought it was awesome. So going from that to like being so scared to even just work out here at 360 of being like so freaked out about like just getting a workout in when other trainers are here of like, where did that person go? Like, how can this person be so strong over here and confident, even though I didn't know if what I was doing was the very best thing or if my form was perfect. I didn't care. Like, I just felt like confident in what I was doing and felt like a badass to this very scared, oh my God, everybody's watching me, judging me. Like, and it's hard to get yourself out of that headspace when you just like, you can recognize it and you're like, well, just be that other person.
Well, yeah.
Well, just bring that out. And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's you growing as a trainer as well. You know, it's like you over here, you didn't know what you didn't know.
Yeah.
And then you start to learn how to become a trainer and what good form is and what your body, you know, compensations are. And then all of a sudden you're like second guessing everything that you did. And it's like, okay, well, I gotta find the happy medium here. You know, I gotta still move my body, you know, but it's a challenge.
Right.
And it's a constant challenge. I mean, cause you're constantly learning and you're constantly educating yourself on how to be a better trainer. So then you're constantly judging what it is that you're doing yourself. And yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting field for sure.
And I would say, I want to ask you too, if this was something for you, even though you've been a fitness professional for a very long time now, over a decade, right?
Yeah, going on 10 years.
Of like, so for me, it went a big twist in my brain. This started in 2020 with just leaving the radio station and then playing into being a personal trainer. Went from like, this is my fun, this is my passion, this is my life, this is my hobby, but it's not how I pay my bills, to now this is my job. I'm a quote unquote expert. People are coming to me for the advice and the thing of like, what? I mean, specifically the exercise, because the exercise is like the mindset stuff. And obviously I've had this podcast for 4 years. I love having discussions about this. I love like helping people in any way that I can. But am I the person in the past to be like, oh, let me program a workout for you?
Right.
No. And so going from this is my fun thing to this is my job, it also just has twists your brain around. And did you have that too? I mean, you were like an athlete and everything else, but going from, I mean, I guess that's essentially kind of your job, but was that a twist in your brain at all from going from I enjoy physical fitness is Josh Garrett human to Josh Garrett professional?
It didn't until I had the injury that screwed my back up. Like that one really threw a monkey wrench in the thought process of everything. Like I always found working out to be like my safe space, like it was like me versus myself. Yeah, you challenge yourself and all that fun stuff. And, that was like the first 5 years of being a trainer. And then when I ended up screwing my back up, it was like, what how are you a fitness professional? You don't even know how to work out yourself.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it took me a while and I mean, I still struggle with it on, a weekly basis of just trying to figure out, like you said, like reverse lunges, like you can't program that anymore. For me, it's hard for me to swallow that pill of like, okay, you shouldn't do that exercise anymore. It's like, yeah, but I'm not doing something appropriately, so I need to fix that. And I would agree with that, but some exercises just are better suited for other individuals.
Yeah.
So
then do you think that, you're talking about like, strength and exercise. And I think that I've had this discussion a ton on this podcast, especially, with women and about women about having body image issues in the gym. Like, is that something that you've like dealt with? If you're dealing with injuries, have you ever felt like, walk me through that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that you have this, I don't know the best word to use here, but it's like you're held to a higher standard, right? Because you're a fitness trainer, you're a fitness professional. But you also are running a business and you have clients and, you have the same 24 hours as everyone else. It's still a struggle for you. And then dealing with an injury, and it's like you can't work out to the same intensity that you used to work out. And that's what you define fitness as. So now you have to like redefine what that is. And while you're trying to redefine that, you're still trying to help your clients and educate your clients and help them be the best that they can be when you feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you're trying to like battle all of this internal stuff while you're still trying to provide the best service that you can for people. And that was a real mental. And then, your body doesn't look the same way that it did when you were going through the injuries and the not being able to work out as often as you can and all of that stuff. So it was definitely a mental challenge to that piece of it. And I think that there's always, because I've never been like, some people, they just don't have to work out that hard and they can still maintain a body that they have. It's like I have to put in the work in the gym to be able to keep like I don't think that I would ever be like morbidly obese just because I don't have the genetics for that, but in order to keep the muscle mass that I have, I definitely have to work at that. So
yeah, I would say there's definitely a piece that that somebody else had talked to me about earlier this year too, of like, oh, now that you're working in the fitness industry, it's going to mess with your head about what you feel like your body should look like.
Oh yeah.
And so I feel like there's some of that. I feel like I dealt with that more like last year of like, I quit my job to work in health and fitness, but then it's COVID and I'm like, I'm eating to cope and I'm not moving and I was having an injury and I just felt like not good in my own body. And I'm like, what the hell? Like kind of what you're saying, like I've heard like this is supposed to be my job now. And I am dealing with bad old coping mechanisms. I don't feel good in my own body. I'm making choices that are harmful to me. And so it's like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? But like, I don't know. This is where, at least where I'm at right now and all the work I've done on myself and everything this year. And of just like, I don't know. I don't feel like any pressure that I'm supposed to have like rock hard abs or I need to like look like an Instagram model. Like that's not what I want for myself at all. Like I just want to be healthy. And I feel like I feel like I also feel very grateful to work at Cincy 360 Fitness, where nobody here is like has that attitude of like, oh, you have to have aesthetics to like work at this gym, which I'm sure there's plenty of other gyms that are like that. And I don't want to be in that atmosphere to work out in, and I don't want to work in that atmosphere. So I feel like I'm already everybody is just very accepting of every person of every size, age, color, and everything, and everything else here at the gym of that anyway. But I feel like, if it comes across my head and I think about that of like, oh, I need to like look a certain way. I'm like, no, I don't, because I feel like, one, I want to be true to myself, number one, and what feels good for me mentally and physically. And two, I feel like with clients of like, I don't know if I'm just a normal person too that would hire a personal trainer. I'm like, I want somebody that's like living a balanced, healthy life and isn't shredded and expects me to like have this hardcore, insane routine, or to like live the way that they live. Of like, I would be happy if like, yeah, you just look like a happy, healthy person, and I trust you to help me live my happy, healthy life. And so I feel like that, not that, body image issues like never, I don't think, fully go away, and they have roots in different ways and different aspects of life. But I feel like as a personal trainer, I don't really feel, at least in this moment, I don't feel like I need to look a certain way of just like, I like being healthy and active. And
well, and I think that's what you kind of start to learn, is that, every body is different, and that there's not like this, you have to be this certain way, and I think that a lot of clients appreciate that about us, that we can take that, quote unquote normal approach to fitness and like redefine that, the verbiage around it, and of like, no, you have to eat the chicken and broccoli, and you're working out 5 days a week, and you have to sacrifice all of this stuff. And it's like, yeah, you can do that, but you can also live, like you were saying, like a balanced life and just be quote unquote normal and a healthy individual, and
just balance. Or treat yourself like crap because of like, oh, I quote unquote made a bad decision. If like, no, like it was not in my plan Friday night. I ended up going out and having drinks and eating barbecue, and it's like, I don't feel guilty about this. Like, this was fun. And did I have meal prep at home? Yeah. Did I not eat it? Yeah, because it was like the best decision was like, I want to go out and have drinks. Yeah. I want to eat some freaking delicious barbecue, and I don't feel bad. And I think that's, we kind of skew, like, I mean, all of us kind of go peg it hard to the left or the right of like, oh, we're so hardcore and healthy, especially as we go into the new year, or we're just completely off the rails. And I think it's really hard to find out where your middle is. And I think that finding the middle is just knowing where it's like, do you feel, good mentally and physically? And that's going to be a different definition for every person. Like what that is for me is different than it is for you. But as long as that's what it is for you, anybody telling you otherwise can go to hell. Like, what the hell do they know? Well, who is somebody else to tell you what to do with your body?
Well, and I think that it allows us to provide a better service to the clients that we have, because we have that struggle. We have that normal approach to things of like, you can go out on Friday nights and you can still be a healthy individual. You just have to learn how to rein it back in, or, you had a unhealthy breakfast. Well, it's time to have a healthy lunch, or whatever the case may be. You didn't get a workout in on Monday. Okay, well, you got Tuesday. Make sure you get a workout in on Tuesday, or whatever the case may be. I mean, I think that it's just living through that. And then, I always, back when I was going through it, it was a mental struggle of just trying to like, oh God, I feel like such a fraud, kind of thing. And then once you get through it, it's kind of like, no, you can actually add value for people, because everybody's going through this stuff. You're not allowed to do that because you're a personal trainer. And it's like, that's ridiculous.
Was there like a space that you do feel like you walk into like, oh God, I don't belong here?
Never really like in a gym set. I will say that the last time that I went to a big box gym, it was definitely a different vibe because of social media and everybody's, filming their workouts and, everybody's got makeup on and their hair's done, and it's like everybody's putting this image out there.
Yeah.
That's something that I hadn't seen for, because that wasn't around when I was in the big box gym. So now it's like that part of it was kind of like, oh, this is different. But I've never really felt like out of place in a gym. Anywhere where I don't know how things operate, I feel out of place. I don't know if that makes sense. Of just anything new, like anything different. Like I'm walking into something that I don't know where you should go, or you always figure it out, but there's always that uneasy feeling of like, oh, I'm gonna screw something up, and I'm gonna make somebody, I just don't want to be that guy. That kind of thing. So that's where I kind of feel out of place. But
I feel like you kind of push yourself into some of those situations, though.
Yeah, I do, but because it's always enjoyable after you get through it, and the only way to get through it is to do it. That kind of thing. So, and I think that, I don't know, one thing that I try to do is like always go first. Like if it is an uncomfortable situation and you can kind of feel that the whole thing is uncomfortable for people, just admit that it's uncomfortable and like make a joke about it. And like usually like, oh, I'm an idiot. What can I do here? And then it kind of like you feel the whole room get like easier. Yeah. So I think that's, I don't know. It helps me in my way of coping with things. So
no, I'm the same way where I'm like, well, somebody's got to jump in the fire. I'm like, I'll do it. Like, let's see what happens after that. I appreciate so much. Like you knew me for like 5 minutes. I'm like, hey, do you want to go to Memorial Hall and do a live podcast with me on stage? And you're like, okay. Yeah. Like that's a vulnerable place to be of like, don't really have, not used to living behind a microphone.
Yeah. That was an interesting day. That was one where I had to, I think I've told you this. I think we've talked about it on here, but like I went in the bathroom and was like mentally talking to myself, like, all right, you're here. You got to do this. Like there is no turning around from this. Like I was sweating profusely.
I mean, you could have backed out. Fine. But then like, look where it takes us, Josh. So the end of 2018, I'm like, hey, do you want to be on this live podcast? And then today at the end of 2021, we're going to talk about shaving your balls.
Hey, there we go.
Look at that segue. Let's talk about Manscaped.
Manscaped.
Which I do. I'm talking about a vulnerable place where I asked Josh of like, hey, man, do you want to talk about shaving your balls on Pound This for manscaped.com with code Pound This? And you're like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Like, all right, then. So it's been amazing, the conversations I've had, especially over the past week about Manscaped. I have learned so many of my clients know people or themselves are fans of Manscaped and their products. And lots of Christmas gifts are going to be bought, including the ball deodorant, which I think is fantastic to get them stanky balls out of here, I guess. So so Manscaped so they have a lawnmower, which can be a ball shaver or can shave any part of your body. I love that it has a flashlight on it. And then the weed whacker is the nose trimmer. And then there's just like so many other things that you can buy, like the deodorant and the spray. Have you used the spray yet?
I haven't used the spray. I've used the deodorant.
Okay. And you're a fan of the deodorant?
Yeah.
Have you shaved any part of your body or just your balls?
I shaved my arms with it before I shaved.
Gotcha.
Down there.
Yeah. Did you wear the underwear? Because they have the boxer briefs too.
No, I did not. I just washed those.
Okay, so I put those on and was like, oh, this could be kind of fun. Maybe I could like wear these and like, like that'd be kind of fun to wear like dudes underwear. I can't. These specifically like come in with like a prepackaged bulge.
Really?
Like, yeah. And so I'm like, I put them on and it looks like I have balls. I'm like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with this.
I'm definitely going to have to try them on now.
Or do like accentuate the package?
Yeah.
Like Merry Christmas, put a little mistletoe on top.
Oh, jeez.
But everyone I have chatted with is just like, yeah, no, they're awesome. Either their fiance loved it, or their boyfriend loved it, or their husband, or they themselves loved it. So if you're interested in a great gift, you can look into Manscaped. Lots of stocking stuffers, including the 2-in-1 shampoo plus conditioner. My goodness. The cologne-infused body wash and the crop mops, the ball wipes, the to-go solution for stanky balls. Those aren't my words. Those are Manscaped words because they are hilarious and I love them. And please use code POUNDTHIS to save 20% and get free shipping at manscaped.com. Right, Josh?
Exactly. I feel like you would fit right in with their marketing.
Oh my! I wish I could just come up with ways to like make balls more creative.
Because it's amazing, the line that they have and everything. Of just all right. Well, we're going off of the lawnmower, and what was their like
The weed
shaver
whacker.
is the plow, I think.
Oh,
What was the
I'm not sure.
It's like a single blade razor that they have.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's called the plow.
Oh, you did some research.
Yeah, they got a bunch of but it's hilarious how they had this theme and they just ran with it.
I know.
And
I love it. And then again, like you said, like the packaging is so nice. Like it's
Yeah,
just like
it's
nice,
legit.
very nice quality, like a
Yeah.
very good
Yeah.
gift.
Yes, I would highly recommend it. It definitely, you feel more secure using it, as if
Okay, gotcha. From
Just-
like cuts and nicks.
yeah, just so you just feel comfortable. You feel confident
All right.
in going downstairs of like, all right, well, because that's an
delicate
issue.
area.
Yeah,
It's
you
a
don't want to.
You don't want to trust that to some rusty shears.
Yeah, which I've had a couple nicks before, and you like cover it up like, oh no.
But like,
it's-
do dudes take like a straight razor to that area? Is that ever a thing?
Yeah,
Yeah. Have you done that?
yeah.
Oh, how did that work out?
What do you mean?
Like,
I mean-
that seems like you really cut yourself.
Well, you take precautions. You slow and steady.
Okay.
You're not having a couple drinks and going and doing it. You make sure everything's secured. You're ready to go.
That's true. Do a couple shots before I do some shaving. Yellow.
Yeah. What were you thinking there? I don't know.
Oh my God. See, how far we've come, Josh, or how far we've backslid from Vulnerability live podcast on stage to ball
now
chat.
talking about shaving your balls.
Oh my God. I love it so much. For anybody listening to this podcast, especially if this is your first one, you'd be like, what the hell
Yeah.
I just stumbled into. I just wish everybody knew how much joy it brought me to do these Manscaped commercials. And Manscaped, if you're listening, it has given me great joy to talk about balls. It has fits so well into my humor.
Yes, it does.
And I'm a big fan of personal hygiene. So
Yeah, I mean, it's 2021. It's like, you know, when you were asking me about it, it's like, yeah, I think everybody should do it. Like, what do you
not
mean?
should. Anybody can do whatever they want to, I feel like.
I feel like you should take care of yourself. You know, it's like you clean it up. Clean it up.
Oh my God. No, I mean, no. We'll leave it there. Oh my God. Oh yeah, we were talking about vulnerability, right?
Yeah. Back to that.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I don't know where else to pick it up from there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have anything. I think
But there's nothing else along this journey that has like made you feel like vulnerable. Like, did you ever feel like, especially like playing like college football and stuff like that, where there was ever a spot of like, oh, I don't belong here?
oh God, yeah. There was we did this lifting competition with two other colleges, and it was, you know, you were by positions, and you know, and bench press is just not the lift that I'm just not good at it. It's not one of my, and for whatever reason the coach put me in to this lift, and the guys were warming up with what I was finishing with, and I was like, this is the most ridiculous. Just get me out of here. I just want this to end, you know. And that one was pretty rough.
Yeah, that sounds very unpleasant.
Yeah, but I did see some pretty impressive lifts that day. Like, there was some guys that were moving some weight. So,
Well, what about when you did that kettlebell certification a few months ago? There were some like pretty hardcore people in there too, right? Did that make you feel
Yeah.
any sort of like, oh God?
not really, just because it was more of like I was learning as much as I could about it. And now, like when I look at different modalities, like I have that lens that I can is like, yeah, I'm not an expert in this. Like, this is why I'm here. Like, I want to learn this as much as I can. And it was a little intimidating. You know, you're just going into a new setting. You're going into a new gym. You don't know, you know, that the people that are active members in the gym are the ones that are mainly going to be there. So you're kind of walking in on somebody else's home field kind of thing. So that was a little intimidating, but it was more of just going down there and just, you know, just to learn and just do as much as I can and call it a wrap.
Yeah. I'd say for myself, there's like, I mean, a lot of the time I feel, not a lot of time, but I'd say with every situation, kind of like we mentioned earlier, of when I'm feeling like vulnerable or whatever, like I still just kind of like kick myself through it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's a lot easier than others, or I'll be a lot more vocal about it than other times. But I think we were having this conversation before we started recording, where there's people that have this perception of you with anybody of like, oh, they've got it all figured out, or they know what they're doing and I don't. And then you kind of peel back the layers and like everybody's like, what? And I've learned that so much with talking to so many entrepreneurs, especially on this podcast over the past 4 years. I've talked to a butt ton of people that are business owners and entrepreneurs, and then also being on panels with other people that are entrepreneurs across the board. Every single small business owner that I have met is like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm trying to figure it out as I go. Yeah. You have some wins and some days are real low. So like the high highs, oh my God, here we go. We're going to crush. And then just months of lows. Yeah. And it's either like you're kind of built for it or you're not, is kind of the vibe I've gotten of being an entrepreneur for myself for the past 2 years. It's like the same sort of vibe of like, okay, I think I'm getting stuff figured out. Roadblock, nope, turn it around. We're going to figure this out. And then like, oh my God, well, should I just give this up? Like, this isn't going anywhere. And then you get a win and then you're like, you're back in the game. And I'm like, oh my God. But to the outside, you see these people, and or at least I do, and I know so many other people do, of just like, wow, again, with the whole social media thing, you look at somebody else's life and you are putting your own lens on it of like, they got it figured out. I don't. And like, no, they don't either. Yeah. Like nobody does. Yep. Like everybody is going through something that nobody knows about. Yep. And so then, yeah, it's just, not only is it such harsh pressure on yourself to be like, I'm not this person if you're comparing yourself to other people, but it's pressure on those other people if you're thinking that they have like everything all lined up and they don't. But I will say that there are so many people, I would say, especially in the health and fitness space, not people that have been on this podcast, but people I've seen on social media and just in business in general, that will come guns a-blazing like, oh yeah, I'm it. I have all the answers. Give me the money and we'll figure this out. And I think that anybody that comes out that harsh, you should be skeptical. Yes,
very much so.
Yeah. And it's hard because you're like, oh, there's confidence. Like obviously they got it figured out until, I don't know, at least I found out like everybody that's really has a genuine heart and cares and really wants to help is like, I don't know, like I'm just trying to do my best.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that you just kind of, the more life that you live, the more experience that you have, the more that you can help people and the more that you can offer like, hey, try this, you know, hey, I struggled with that, you know, give this. And that's where like, when I had the injury, it was like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. But then you get through it and you can help so many more people that are going through, you know, aches and pains and thinking that that's just the way that life is. And then, hey, what if you stop doing this and implement this? And, oh, my pain went away. And it's like, that's amazing. You know, that's a huge win. And it just empowers people. And, you know, it's like when you're going through it, it's like, oh, this is miserable and this is horrible. But then you get through it and it's like, oh, now I kind of see why I had to go through that.
Yeah.
But you think that it's going to stop and it just evolves and it changes and it goes into something else. And like you said, we're all going through something. So it's just try to be nice as you can to people.
Yeah. Right. So hopefully like this episode has helped somebody that is like, might be second guessing themselves being like, oh, it's like you think like, oh, personal trainers or fitness professionals, like they must just go in the gym and crush. And like you have this perception of that. It's like, no, we're just people too, trying to figure it out and have our own insecurities. And like I made a post on Instagram about how I've been like too spooked out to like work out at the gym in front of everybody. So I was still going to the Y because it was just spinning so in my head about it. And I had multiple people reach out to me like, what? Like, I don't understand that. I'm like, well, I'm just being honest with you about where I'm going through of like, yeah, it's just insecurities and vulnerabilities. And I'm like, I'm still pushing myself through it. I didn't give up. I didn't quit. You know what I mean? But it's just like, that's what I'm going through. So somebody else is going through something else that maybe, you know, other people don't perceive as difficult or whatever, but it is to that individual so that it counts.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yep.
Life is weird, dude.
Oh, yes. Life is weird.
And I have my little book of questions here. So I was just flipping through.
And I don't even get to choose the page.
No, you can choose one for me, though. I'm going to change this one a little bit. But, okay. So if you could pick a new tattoo for me, what would it be and where would you put it?
I get to put a tattoo on you.
Yeah.
And what is it and where it goes?
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, that's kind of cheating because I know that you've been wanting a tattoo on your forearm.
Yeah.
So I would probably go there.
Okay. Well, thanks for thinking about what I would want permanently on my body.
Yeah. I mean, it would be something, I don't know, just the nature-ish thing that you've been, that's.
Well, yeah, I guess it's
cheating.
kind of easy. Because if you didn't know any of that, like, would you have a different answer?
I don't know if I was trying to be mean and tramp stamp on the back.
Yeah. Of what? Like a bullseye?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
All right, I'll let you pick one for me. I guess I'll choose page 83.
83.
I'm getting closer to what I want for my tattoo, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of nailing it down. But I do want it on my right forearm.
How big?
From
like elbow to wrist?
No.
No?
Like, I don't know. I don't know, in like
4 or 5 inches?
I don't know, depending on what it is.
Okay.
Big-ish. I've also thought about too, I do want to get the nature-y thing. I do want to get like my evergreen tree and have like a yin-yang sort of vibe to it. But I also kind of like the idea of, I might do this on the other arm where I have my only tattoo of like, I just kind of like having like affirmations on me that I like to sit, like nice reminders, like my you are a force is a nice affirmation of like days where I am questioning myself and I'm like, oh my God, to like look at them and be like, oh no, like, hey, come on.
Yeah.
You're doing okay. But other than that, I don't have any other tattoos.
This one's interesting.
Okay.
If you had to cancel 1 hour of the day, every day, which hour would you eliminate?
What? Like just a basic time out of the day or
Yeah.
like an event out of the day?
Just if you had to cancel 1 hour of the day.
What a weird ass question. I don't know. There's like no particular hour out of the day where I'm like, yuck, 9 a.m.
Really?
No.
I have that from mine's like 12 to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Yeah, like I just hit
Why?
this lull of just like, ugh. It's, I don't know. It's like my energy level dips, like focus dips. I just feel very lethargic. And yeah, if I could remove that hour, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, no, every day is so different for me. I don't really think, because I mean, I like mornings and I like evenings and yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would eliminate. I wish I could give myself more hours. I don't want to take one out of there.
I need to add to it.
Yeah, right?
All right, here's a better question for you. If you could have been the person who discovered any country in history, which country would you like to have been first to find?
Well, I think my answer would be just like country that I want to go to now because I just want an excuse to go see this country. I would like to go to like New Zealand.
Yeah.
I think New Zealand would be super cool. It's super pretty there.
New Zealand would be first on the map. If you were able to go back in history, you would.
And back in history,
you would find New Zealand.
I would just want to go to some places like pretty and cool that I want to hang out at. Like that place seems cool. Yeah, I'm not looking to colonize. I didn't know if that was the question. I was just looking at a place that I'm just going to be like, hey, this place is pretty awesome. I'm going to like build a cabin here and I'm going to chill. Like I'm not looking to Lewis and Clark this thing.
Well, I mean, it's the question for the game of life. So
yeah, so that I guess, I would just choose a place that I would be like, oh, this seems like this is a pretty cool spot. So I guess, What about you?
I think we fulfilled our everywhere under the sun of this podcast. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, whatever. It's the end of the year.
No, I mean, I haven't really traveled a lot. I think Australia would be cool to visit. And I don't.
They got some big ass spiders there, though.
Yeah.
There's some big ass bugs. If anybody's listening to this in Australia, send me pictures of all the scary ass shit that's like roaming around your country, dude. Yeah, like spiders as big as your face, like in your house.
Sorry. That would be, nope, I'm out.
No, that's what's scary. Like, but Australia does seem super cool. I do really want to go to Ireland. I mean, pretty much there's everywhere I would want to go.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know if there's not a whole lot of places other than war zones, like active war zones that I don't really want to go to. That's where it's like, I just want to go everywhere. Yeah, I just want to experience everything. But there's already so much to see in the United States that, like, I sent it to you at all. Did you ever start watching Port Protection Alaska? That show in Alaska, like it's on the chain of islands that's like southern Alaska, like closer to like Vancouver. And so it's very like Pacific Northwesty vibes. And there's these people. Just here's my little commercial for what's it on National Geographic Channel. It's less than 100 people that live in these like little chain of islands, but there's still a little community. But they still like live off the land, but still help each other out. So there's like a little like bar and little general store there, but like they all have to have like their little boats. They all have to get all their firewood. They have to clean. They have to like go kill the food they eat. They have to maintain their house. And so it's like I don't know. I think it's super badass. It's one of those things where I'm like, that'd be cool to do for like a year, but I don't know if I could commit to that like long term.
Yeah, right. That'd be cool for like a month.
Maybe like
and then you hit some
struggles.
Really like the struggles that we have, struggles of like not killing your food. Like that's a whole nother level.
Yeah, but they can still like get food in from like the lower 48.
Yeah.
Like they still have that option. It's not solely based on everything that you kill.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of like there, and I saw that, like we looked up that they can like you can like vacation there. Like if you're like mega rich, because you have to like fly a plane, like a special seaplane and there and all this other stuff. And I'm like, that would be badass. Like there's just so many places like that, like everywhere. I'm like, I want to experience that. I'm like, is that realistic for me? Probably not, because that sounds expensive. But I'm like,
that's so weird that's expensive. Like
you got to get there.
I know, but I mean, it's essentially like just to live. We think of as like really expensive. I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, it's just I get the arousal of it. Like I think that would be cool to. But then there's parts of it that you'd just be like, no, this is no.
Yeah.
I just want to go to Walmart.
Right. But I have visited Alaska, and Alaska's super badass, but it was like not that part of Alaska.
Yeah.
And then there's another show that's like a companion piece to Port Protection Alaska for anybody that's really into this is, I forgot what it's called, but it's based in like northern Alaska. These people hardcore, man. Like they are like living, there's like hundreds of miles before there's anybody else, and they are solely like living off the land, and like it is like intense, and like sled dogs and stuff like that, and like how they have to like ice fish, and how like family members have died from the hardcore like fishing, and like oh man, it's like that's a little too intense. But I would like to be like, oh, could I go to that part of Alaska for a week and experience it? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to live there though.
Well, like you said, it would definitely give you a different lens. Like you would.
Yeah.
I don't think we would worry about the struggle. We wouldn't worry about the same struggles that we're worrying about now.
Yeah.
In a place like that.
Yeah.
So. Anyways.
All right. Well, this episode, this is enough.
Sorry for anyone listening to this.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Bye.
AmandaValentineBites.com